Update 5.9.0 is the most recent update in Realm of the Mad God. It features things like class reworks, new systems, new events, bug fixes, and more. And because I know you kids love your sectioned plates, your zoo pals, I've added timestamps to different sections of the video so you can pick and choose whichever section you'd like, just like you do with your smiley fries and your dino nuggies. Quickly before we get into everything, there's a free St. Patrick's Day pack in the shop, so remember to claim that. It's got a few nice goodies, nothing too extreme, but it's free, so why not take advantage of it. So starting off, we've got a new system. We have a system called account levels. And the way this works is as you gain XP over the course of playing, you'll increase your account level. It just rewards you for playing the game. And as you increase your account level, you'll earn various rewards. There's titles, there's a chest slot unlocker, there's a character slot unlocker, there's different color beams. There's a bunch of stuff here. The ones to know are firstly, the chest unlocker. You can get this in like 10 minutes of playing. Takes no time at all. Just play the game for like 10 minutes. You get a free chest unlocker. It's great. Play the game a little longer. You play like for a few days. Get a character slot unlocker. That's great. This is so valuable for new players because I cannot stress enough how much it sucks to hop on Realm and only have one character slot. You made a warrior, but now you want to play a paladin, and it's like, oh my god, now I have to kill my warrior. I don't want to kill my warrior. Boom, second character slot. Just play the warrior a little longer. You can get a second character slot to make the paladin. There's also a free mystery skin unlocker. But the most interesting things about this system are some things we've never seen before, such as starting equipment tier. As you progress through the account levels, you'll earn permanent upgrades to the gear you spawn with when you make a character. So normally you start with tier 1 weapon, tier 1 ability, tier 1 armor, no ring. Now with this, you can start with a tier 2 weapon, tier 3 armor, a tier 2 ability even, and a ring. And the highest this goes is tier 4 weapon, tier 2 ability, tier 4 armor, and a tier 2 ring of defense. It's always a ring of defense. I don't know why. I guess just for the sake of consistency, they decided to do that. I think it's fine. If you're used to playing the game, you outscale this armor really quickly anyways. But it's really nice for especially new players. So there's that. There's also permanent XP received. So you just earn more XP overall. This is great. This means more fame, which you can spend on cloths and dyes so you guys can look spiffy. You guys can look fashionable. There's a bunch of pet food. And lastly, we have drop loot boost, which gives you up to a plus 4% chance at loot. But what it means is 4% of the normal chance. So if the chance of getting a white bag, which is unknown because it's very mysterious, let's say the rate for a white bag is 1 in 60, with a 4% drop loot boost, you'll have a 1.04 out of 60 chance. So it's cool in theory, but is it relevant? I don't know. And now the reason you clicked on this video, the Knight and Archer reworks. I say reworks carefully because though they're claimed to be reworks, they're really more like just little touch-ups to make Archer and Knight fit in better with the power creep of other classes. But I really like what they've done to change them. So starting off with the Knight rework, they gave Knight's tiered abilities an effect where when you use your shield, it grants you 25% damage reduction for 5 seconds. This may not sound huge. It's huge. It's actually huge. So the way this works is it reduces all damage by 25%. That means lava. That means projectiles that armor pierce. That even means reducing damage from the expose and curse effects. So expose reduces your armor by 20, right? So you take 20 more damage per shot. While you have this effect active, you only take plus 15 per shot if you're exposed. So Knight now is by far the tankiest class in the game. And playing Knight, you feel like a walking fortress. It's absolutely crazy. But other than that, that's the only change they've done. That's why I say it's more of a touch-up and less a rework, because everything's the same. They just added one little nice effect. There is one last thing to note about the damage reduction. So let's say a shot does 100 damage, just to keep things simple. The shot does 100 damage, you reduce it by 25%. Now the shot does 75 damage. If you're in combat trigger is, let's say, 90 damage. So the shot deals 100 damage. You scale it down to 75. Combat trigger is 90. You shouldn't enter combat, right? Wrong. For some reason, I don't know if it's a bug or if it's intended, but when you reduce the damage with Knight's ability, it still acts as though the shot does full damage, at least in the context of combat trigger. So be mindful of that when playing. That's just one little thing that makes this rework not quite as good as it sounds, but Knight is still really good. And they did something very similar for Archer. So the Archer rework / touch up, now instead of firing one arrow with your quiver, you fire 2 in a very slight V formation. And when your quiver hits an enemy, that enemy receives plus 10% damage from all sources for a few seconds. It's definitely a cool change. I wish there was one arrow that would go down the middle instead of them splitting off, but the damage vulnerability is really nice. But that's it for the class reworks. Some damage reduction on Knight, some damage vulnerability for Archer. Like I said, just a little touch up. With there being a new season, Of course, there's a new battle pass. You don't earn too much over the course of this battle pass, unfortunately. There is a vault chest unlocker, but even with the premium path included, you don't get a character slot. Kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. And other than that, it's just, you know, some typical battle pass stuff, some nice drops here and there. There is a pet skin near the end of it, but no other skins or anything like that. There's new missions, so have a look at those. There's a ton of things to do, and there's even one ultimate mission where you complete a handful of the hardest dungeons in the game, and you get a character slot, Paramount Mystery Pet Skin, a mystery skin, and a sanctified ambrosia. Really hard to get there and do that, but the fact that they're upping the difficulty and the rewards to this level, I think is really great. There's a bunch of new shinies this season. I think a lot of these look really great. There's the Quiver shiny from High Tech Terror. There's the shiny Sheath from Mountain Temple, shiny Trap with a Vile Spirit, shiny Snakeskin Shield, shiny Queen Stinger, which is my personal favorite. I love when they make green items, but does this look good? And a shiny variant of the bow from Moonlight Village, which I imagine to most people will probably look the best. It looks really, really nice. There's also a new Crucible this season, of course, and this one's actually really interesting. There's a ton of upside that you have plus 25% max HP, plus 5 attack, plus 5 dex, plus 15% loot drop bonus. That's huge. Plus 10% XP bonus, plus 10% battle XP bonus. The catch. Drew, what's the catch? Catch is enemy shots deal 2.5% of your current health. That means if a shot as small as 1 damage hits you, and you have, just to make things easy, I know it's a lot of health, but let's say 1,000 health, that 1 damage shot will do 1 damage plus 2.5% of your current health, which is 1,000, which means that shot does 26 damage. A 1 damage shot. Now think of how many dungeons there are where there's just bullets everywhere. Each one of those bullets is doing a ton of damage. The good thing is that it's your current health, not your max health. So as you get lower, it starts to plateau. But that means having a high max health is less valuable for Crucible players than non-Crucible players. Because the higher your health is, the more damage you're taking. And last but not least, we have the St. Patrick's Day event. There's leprechauns running rampant through the realm. There's clovers everywhere. Some really rare 4-leaf clovers too. The Rainbow Road dungeon has been reintroduced, and there's even a 5-leaf clover. I don't know if it's real, but I've heard legends of there being a 5-leaf clover. During this time, there's a handful of dungeons with events, like Snake Pits, Haunted Cemetery, Crawling Depths, and Nest for the first week, Pirate Cave, Parasite Chambers, Secluded Thicket, and Lost Halls during the second week, and Ice Cave during both weeks. In these dungeons, you can get access to old bricks, which are used for the daily quest rewards in the daily quest room, and yellow leprechauns, which will advance you in the battle pass as well as have their own drops. The rewards from the daily quest room feature a bunch of stuff. So you take these old bricks from these various dungeons, you can redeem engravings, you can get different pet skins, you can get the reintroduced hard hats, which are pretty solid rings. You can get all the construction skins. Personally, not my favorite, but hey, whatever suits your fancy. If you want to look like Bob the Builder, go ahead. You can also get the different construction armors. And if you get so many old bricks that you don't even know what to do with them, you can get additional construction bag goodies and buried treasure. They've also added missions for the St. Patrick's Day event. So if you head to the missions tab, click on the top left to switch over to Shamrock Rainfall, you can see all the St. Patrick's Day missions. You can choose a bunch of different skins, a bunch of weapons, armor, engravings, and even emotes. Me being a wine connoisseur, obviously, I'm going to grind my ass off to get the cheers emote, and I would hope that all of you would do the same, but you do have to find a lot of those really, really rare 4-leaf clovers. And FYI, if you guys find a 4-leaf clover and you're like, oh man, I should call this out to the realm and get everybody involved. The kill only counts for the person that got the final blow. So if you find one, you get a group of 5, and you're like, yes, I'm a great person, I'm helping the community. Well, unfortunately for you, you and everyone around you now has a 1 in 5 chance of getting the kill for it. And you've essentially just swindled yourself. Other than that, though, we got a bunch of bug fixes and all that stuff, but I just wanted to talk about a few that I thought were notable. They've reintroduced the rat minigame to the Abandoned City. If you guys have been looking around the Abandoned City all over the place for these rats and not finding them, it felt like you're going crazy, much like I have. All it's because you didn't know that they took the rat minigame out of the game to begin with. Apparently they did, but now it's back. We got the rats back. So go slay some rats, amass a cat army, and wreak havoc on the Rat King. Also, for you Lost Halls enjoyers, after you use a vial to open the void after the NBC fight, you'll get a second defense exalt. So not too crazy, but nice little quality of life thing. There's also been a ton of health reduction across the board to a bunch of different enemies across the realm. And some enemies have even gotten their attack speed reduced and or effects reduced. So like that big guy in the Runic Tundra, the big guy that shoots out a bunch of paralyzing shots, those don't paralyze as long anymore. and there's some other enemies that have had a similar treatment done to them. And lastly, supposedly issues have been fixed with certain encounter spawn rates. Hopefully this means that we just have more encounters. Hopefully it's not less. It's a little vague on what it means, but hopefully this means that we can actually see the UFO event again. When was the last time you guys saw aliens? That's right, before the realm rework. So hopefully this means that they've fixed the rates on that, and now it is actually possible to get the UFO, and maybe some other things like skeletal centipede you don't see too often. So my hope is that they've increased the rates for veteran biomes, but I'm not sure if that's the case. But I really want to see UFOs back. That's something I miss a lot. I'm sure you guys do as well. All right, well, that's going to do it. That is essentially everything in update 5.9.0. If there's anything I missed or anything that needs clarification, let me know in the comments. I read every single comment. I try to respond to every comment as best I can. Feel free to give this video a like and subscribe if you want to see regular Realm of the Mad God updates and just general gameplay. Thank you for watching. If it's day for you, have a good day. If it's night, have a good night. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.